If you're going to sell a home or a condo in this real estate market, you have to know the numbers. I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group over at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services in Panama City Beach. And in this video, I want to go over some of the numbers we're tracking so we can see what's happening in the real estate market, properly position properties to sell for the highest price. If you don't know Mike Del Petre, I hope I'm saying that right. Mike puts out a lot of great real estate research and data and chart form, lots of analyzation. And so one of the things I got turned on to Mike a few months ago. One of the things Mike's been talking about, I thought it's good to mention today. It's the same kind of thing. If you've been watching any of my videos or getting our emails, I'm saying the same thing. It's very important to keep things in perspective. We know there's been a lot of change in the real estate market in the last 5 or 6 months. A lot of things have slowed down, but let's take a look at the bigger picture and see how this compares to the last, say, 10 or 20 years in real estate. And one thing Mike talks about, keep in mind, here's 2020 and 2021 home sales. If you look at that historical average of that dotted line, in 2020 and 2022 and 21, we sold way more homes in the United States than we have in previous years. And so if you're going to compare anything, say August of 2022 to August of 2021, it's going to be a really, really dramatic difference. It's going to seem like this overwhelmingly bad thing. But what Mike also put together is a chart of U.S. existing home sales over a 10-year period. And I like the way he says this. I'll even pull it straight from his email. While existing home sales are down for the second half of 2022, the deviation from historical averages is not nearly as extreme as the drop from last year. So what he's saying here is that, sure, if you're going to compare, say, October 2022, 371,000 homes sold to 2021, 526,000, that's a huge number. It's a big drop. If you think about that in terms of percentages, you can see the reporting makes that look really, really dramatic. But if you really dig into this, you can see that the market's actually acting very similar over the last 10 years. Just sales volume's a little bit different over the years. But when you compare things to how things normally go in the real estate cycle, it's not maybe as desperate as things see. Something else that we're watching, two other things we're watching very specifically to see when the real estate market may pick up again. We have to look at buyer demand. We've lost a lot of demand in the market over the last 5 or 6 months. Far few buyers in the market now than there were 4 or 5, 6 months ago. So two things we're watching to see when they come in and think about it. It's pretty simple. What are you going to do if you're thinking about buying a house or a condo? You're probably going to look at real estate. You're going to get out and see it. And you're also, if you're serious about it, you're going to start to make applications to get a mortgage if you're buying a loan. So two great resources that you can watch and assess demand to see when buyers are picking up again comes from, I think this is from the Mortgage Bankers Association. So if you can see the URL up there on the screen. Pause the video if you want to save this. But every week, the Mortgage Bankers Association puts out mortgage application data. So there's a bunch of charts on here. The one I've been playing with this morning defaults to going back 10 years, which is nice. It gives you nice perspective. So this one here, I can pick January 1st of 2012 to today. You can see the orange line on this chart represents the actual mortgage rate, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate, and the blue kind of line in there is the actual purchase index, meaning mortgage applications. So if I want to see what happened in just the last, say, since the beginning of November of this year, let's go November 2022. November, let's say 1st. Take a look at what's happened. This hasn't got a ton of publicity, I don't think, but the mortgage rates actually come down quite a bit since the beginning of November. And look at what's happened with mortgage applications. If you look at it closely, they've actually been drifting up quite a little bit. So this is a number we're really going to watch going into next year. It's going to tell us a lot about demand. It's going to really affect pricing going forward. The other thing, remember, like I just said, if a buyer is serious about it, they're going to get out and look at real estate. Showing Time is a company that brokers and agents and offices use across the country to schedule the actual showing appointment. The beginning of the pandemic, Showing Time started publishing their data so you could track and see it. We knew we were going to see a big fall off in demand. People aren't getting out to look at real estate in March of 2020. So they started publishing data to see when things would go up. So this is a really helpful chart to watch. You can look at, I'm looking at just Florida right now. If you go to this website, you can actually track any state throughout the country. So the orange line is 2022. Again, very similar to Mike's chart from earlier. If you look at just the spread comparing the number of showings that are happening now to last year, sure, it's off. But if you look at the trends, you can see that the market is happening very, very, very similar every year. Look at this of what's happened, not surprising, around Thanksgiving. Showings off, showings off, showings off in 2022. This is a little bit of a dip here when the interest rates really start to move up. This one in 2020 is the beginning of the coronavirus. But you can see if you start to look through here, showings are very, 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 very similar. So the last couple of years, we normally see a pickup right after the holidays. Showing time will reset the baseline and have another 0%, and we'll see how these numbers move going into 2023. So again, if you're going to sell real estate, and I can tell you real estate still is selling. I wrote a $2.47 million contract 2 days ago, presented an offer yesterday, have a few closings on the books planning for the end of this year and early January. So things are happening. If you are wanting to sell and you want to sell in a timely manner and for the highest price, these are the type of numbers you need to be tracking, especially after the holidays. We'll start to see some things and get some sense of just where the buyer demand is. Is it going to pick up a ton? Is it going to pick up a little bit? And that will have everything to do with our success in getting property sold. So I hope this wasn't too much too fast. That's 6 minutes and 37, 8, 9 seconds of data. So hopefully you enjoy it. If you want to reach out to me directly, again, I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services in Panama City Beach, Florida. My number is 850-527-0221 if you want to give me a call or shoot me a text. I publish market update videos for specific neighborhoods and condo projects on a regular basis, and also send out a Friday newsletter to update people on the market. So if you want to be signed up for any of that, let me know. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was helpful. Thanks for watching. Happy holidays.